become best friends?
Yup.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
Big part of friendship.
I like you. Do you like me?
I do like you.
You are my friend.
You're a nice young man, and I am your friend.
Shut up, Pete. We're not friends now. I don't need you anymore.
You're my best friend.
Friend requests.
The friend request?
Why you ain't accept my friend request, bro? But you don't want to be my friend.
Welcome to the friend request. It's your host, Chloe Maddren. What's going on, everybody? Hello. Gonna get right to it today. Or, should I plug something? Okay. I got a little request. I got a request for the requesties. Hey, could you do me a huge favor and subscribe on YouTube or do a rate and review on Spotify or Apple, or tell a friend about the podcast, literally any one of any of those sorts of things. Share the podcast on your stories, or I don't know, anything like that. Ooh, it's crazy. It would mean the world to me. Yep, that's all. Or if you feel like spending, $5, go watch my special on Patreon or YouTube membership. I'll make sure the link is in the description of the show. You just go to the show notes and you can click it. I think it's really fun and you should go watch it if you want. If you want to have some fun, but also if you want to have free fun, then stick around because this episode is so lovely. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I love this guest. You're going to love them too. So go enjoy, please enjoy the wonderful, the beautiful, the talented, the hilarious Jake Howie. I'm at a place where I just accept. Like if someone takes a photo and they're like, can I post this? I'm like, what? I don't care. I don't look at it.
I care still.
You
No,
still
I
care?
don't. I'm like, I don't know. I want to be one of those people that doesn't care about my. I want to be one of those people that doesn't care about how I look. But I want everyone to want to fuck me at all times.
Oh my God.
Is that okay?
That's exactly how I feel. That's perfectly fine.
I just feel it's so, we all pretend we don't care. And it's like, we all want to be deeply fuckable at all moments.
It's so stupid.
But then the coolest thing to be is, the person that's like, everyone wants to fuck me, but like, I don't care. And it's like, that person doesn't exist. That's not a real person.
That's not a real person. I love this because I do some jokes about being vain. And I ask crowds who consider themselves vain. And it's so rare people will admit it. And I'm like, oh, you just woke up like this? Is that just how your hair falls? Like, no.
And also, what is the definition of vain? Because I feel like, to me, vanity is like giving a shit that you look presentable to other people. It's so, how many people do you know that truly don't care how people view them? If you didn't care, you would I would have like a beard out to here. Actually, I haven't shaved in a few days. Can you tell?
It looks good.
Don't care. But
so cool.
But for a guy, I get more attention when I've got stubble.
Yeah, of course.
From women too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like stubble.
And I'm gay, obviously.
If you hadn't noticed in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, but you're absolutely right. People are insane to think that they don't care how they look. Maybe the definition of vain is like more extreme than that, and maybe people are like, no, I have a healthy relationship with myself. But even that, I doubt.
But I don't think vanity is a bad thing,
I don't think so.
I think if you're obsessed with yourself, that's annoying. But
yeah.
I don't think that. I think vanity's like, how do I look in that picture?
Yeah.
I want to, how many times have you been through, someone takes 5 pictures and everyone zooms in on their face and goes, I like this one. And it's like, everyone else looks like shit. It's like, well, if I do that. Do you do that?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Because, it's vain. Because you're like, I look good, post it, tag me. Fuck you, John, from that date 5 years ago that never got back to me. Look at that, John, what?
What the hell, John?
John, fuck you, John.
How could anyone ever not get back to you?
I know, especially a John who's like obviously in his 50s. He's like, what, John? What name is that? What?
I mean, the only John I know is John Glover, and he's pretty gorgeous.
Oh my God, I love John Glover. Oh no, John, no. Oh.
Not that John.
John, you make all other Johns fuckable in that one.
Look, he knows that he's a standout for the name.
His body is looking good. Have you seen? He's like, I'm sorry, I can cut this out, but oh my God, I
don't
was
want to cut this out.
I wrote to him and I was like, Daddy, because I was just like, and like it's, but again, it's that thing of like actually going back to vanity, when you've been, what those times you've been working really hard at how you look and your body's feeling comfortable, you're feeling like it's how you want to be looking. I'm like, take a picture, frame it. Like honestly, this is me at my best, And he's in one of those moments, I think, where he's been working really hard. He looks great.
I mean, he feels terrible mentally. He's very public about that.
But
so I don't
that's
feel
that's
terrible.
always when you look your best.
Oh my God,
Let's
so
be real.
true. So true.
Have you
It's
ever,
so upsetting.
have you ever been have you ever been truly happy and looked your best?
Nope.
Me, that's never happened.
Nope. Never, ever, ever.
It's just you're so happy that you're like, whatever.
I'm so happy that you're eating.
Yeah. It's like, it's called carbs. It's like, it
Yeah.
facilitates joy. Yeah.
It really does. I'm trying really hard to get back to the looking good but feeling happy. But I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's mutually exclusive. Me too. I don't feel happy with how I look at the moment.
No, you're
I
so
keep stressing. Thank you. I think you're beautiful.
Thank you.
But you know, emotional 69 array. Look at us. We're like, no, you are. No, you are.
are.
Love you. Yeah, hot. But it like you never feel fully good, right?
You know what's interesting? I sometimes I mean I am diagnosed with bipolar, so who knows? People are over pathologized, so whatever you want to take from that, take what you will. But I either feel like I am the most disgusting, unfuckable chud worm of a woman, or sometimes I'm like, I'm literally staring in the mirror going, like, I'm making eyes at myself.
Am I levitating? Like,
Oh my God, she's so cute. I'll open up my...
this is so relatable. This is deeply relatable, yeah.
open up my phone camera and I just stare at myself like, oh, like if I've nailed the
Isn't
beat,
she
you know?
lovely? Yeah, you're like, oh, hello. But that, I feel like, I mean, I can't speak if it's something that's specific to bipolar people. I would say it's specific to most self-aware people.
Yeah, right.
Like I mean, you know, I'm definitely like most comedians on the ADHD vibes, and I definitely feel that manifests into how I feel about myself as well. Like I'm either obsessing over how I look or completely couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the swings and roundabouts of you know, and I'm the same. Sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, you're so hot. You're so tall. You're so look at those lips. Like,
Yes.
you know. And then other times I'm just like, how has anyone had an erection around me before in my life? I have no idea. But neither of those are fully true, right?
Yeah.
The truth is always in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, it's like comments on the internet and stuff. People will worship you. People will say the nastiest things.
People are so mean
It's exactly
online.
the same. People are crazy online.
I feel like I joined TikTok quite late in the game, and I kind of thought TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought TikTok.
Yeah, I'm the one always liking. I'm constantly liking your
I
stuff.
know, I just
but
wanted
whatever.
I wanted to play it cool, but whatever. You know, I was trying to do the whole like, I don't know, are we? Is it? But I'm quite new to the TikTok game, and I really love it. I love it. It's my favorite app. But I thought, I was like, I'm going into like Gen Z territory. It's going to be all like peace and love and like this, you know, and I'm in like an elder millennial. So I was kind of like, I'm an Instagram. That was my kind of, you know.
Of course.
And Instagram was quite gross. And then I started like posting videos, and when people started actually watching them, the comment, like, you know, the folded comments.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's a folder of the comments that I haven't seen. And then like I would go in
No.
and people would just be like ripping into me, and I'd be like, oh.
Oh.
They never said I was ugly though, which I was like, flex.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
Flex. Like talking about other things but not ugly. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that is so funny. I can be called unfunny or dumb and whatever, and it'll just like water off a duck's back. I'm like, that's not true.
Yeah.
And they call me fat, and I'm like, I guess I won't eat this week.
Cuts like a knife. It does. I mean, we all have our things, right? I definitely have like something I've recently started to feel ooh about is my age. Because I'm 39, 39 years young.
Yes.
And I keep on having people like, and it's often like, I hate to stereotype my own people, but it's often younger gays.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, this is what it's like to age as a gay, or like, we don't want to be like this when we're old, and like all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, it's really hurt me.
Yeah.
It's really hurt my feelings, because like I know I'm about to turn 40. I'm obviously aware of that.
Yes.
I'm happy that I look my age. That's okay. Like, I don't care about, like, it's not weird to look your age. Like, that's
No.
actually kind of normal.
It's really normal, but
But I
also
would-
you look fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I mean, glowing
Like,
skin, obviously.
I mean, I would have
like,
guessed 30.
I know.
But...
Yeah, thank you. You're like, you don't look a day over 38. I'm like, okay. Thanks. But like, it's really hurt my feelings.
Of course.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I am old. And then I started getting really like, and how old are you? You're
29.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah.
you're like a different generation completely.
Still a millennial.
Yeah, millennial, but like we're actually like we're bookending millennials, I
Yeah,
think, because you're like a baby millennial, and I'm like
That's really cute.
I'm like an elder. I'm like an elder, and you're like in our like generational
Baby, yeah,
tribe.
yeah.
But I really like. This is gonna. I don't know even how to express this because it's not my ethos, but I find myself giving into it sometimes. Like, oh, kids today.
Yeah.
You know that feeling.
Yeah.
And like, I don't believe in that. I think it's all bullshit. People are people, but sometimes I'm like, don't disrespect me like that.
I know.
Like I paved the way for you in certain ways. Like
Yeah.
like someone 10 years older than me paved the way for me. Someone
Yeah.
10 years older than them paved the way for them.
Yeah, totally.
You couldn't be this expressive with yourself if I didn't have done the same, and if the people before me hadn't done the same, and if
Yeah.
the people before them hadn't done the same.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like I always deeply respected, particularly elder gays. I mean, I guess I grew up in a, you didn't even ask this, but I'm going on a tangent.
No, I love it.
I feel like me and my husband were talking the other day, and we were like, oh, like he's in his 40s. We're like, a lot of our generation, like our older generation, unfortunately died of AIDS in the 80s and 90s. So there was a generational gap of people that were supposed to kind of lead the way for us and inspire us. And we didn't really have as many as we, and they've got a full generation now. And you're talking to me like this? Like, the fuck? And it just kind of feels like, know your history.
Oh, totally.
know?
Totally. It's interesting because I do think it comes from a place of being insecure that they're not adults. Honestly, I think that's largely it, but also I think it's probably misogyny applies to gay men as well so much.
I mean, do you know what? I have a theory.
Yeah.
This is, don't come for me, people, but I have a theory that that I'm speaking, when I speak about homophobia, I'm talking specifically about gay
We've
men.
spoken about this.
Yeah, I've told you this, haven't I? Yeah.
Yes.
And my theory is, as someone who has almost all of my friends are women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I've got two older sisters. My mum was always kind of like the head of our house. Like I've grown up in a very feminine world. That's my world. And I feel like homophobia is a byproduct of misogyny. Yeah. Because, straight guys will see me or people, John or whoever the hell, and they see these people that look like them. We've got the body, we've got the, we can have the voice of it, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But then we're like, and we're so unafraid to lean into the feminine because that's the space we feel safe in, that they're like, hang on, wait, I don't want to fuck you. I don't want to be friends with you.
Yep.
Seems like you might want to fuck me. The energy you're giving in with a lot of straight guys, I kind of want to fuck you. Like, it's all very like, and so I honestly feel like that for gay men is very much based in misogyny.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It's fucking weird. Misogynistic guys hate when there's a woman that they don't want to fuck.
Yeah.
And so it kind of applies in the same kind of way because it's like the same if they think a woman's ugly or old or whatever. They're like, I don't want to fuck you. You're not of use to me. I'm so mad.
It's so gross. Or like they do want to fuck them and they're angry they want to fuck them.
Yes, totally.
And it's like, it's not my fault. You want to suck my dick.
Oh, so
or you
true.
want me to, I actually wanted a guy at a party say to me, and this is like maybe the early 2000s, different world. And I was like, I remember just feeling really happy to be invited to straight spaces. I remember feeling, oh my God, the guys want me here. And feeling like, like, what are the boys? Like whatever. Always one of the girls, but like being like, it was almost the same thing of like, the boys want me too. That was the early 2000s for girls and gays. Yeah. Oh my God, the boys want us here. Yay. And then we found out it was fucking boring. And we're like, actually, we're good. But like, I remember being like that. And I remember this one guy, like, this is back in the days where I used to smoke, don't anymore, but like outside smoking. And this guy,
cool.
like, I'm like, so brat. I invented brat, and a guy is Brat Summer. It's so that's a whole different conversation. It's so funny. Sorry, it's so weird seeing like, I'm like the whole brat movement. I'm like, that's just the early 2000s partying.
Yeah.
Like really, that's like how I grew up.
The friend request is brought to you by Illum Alliance, helping you on your holistic journey through healing. What? Guys, go check these guys out. They've got gorgeous products, gummies, vapes, all THC, melatonin, CBD, whatever, psilocybin. What? For microdosing, things that make you feel nice. They've got them over on Instagram. Go check them out. Use my code FRIEND for 10% off your entire cart. You will not be sorry that you did. Thank you guys for sponsoring the podcast. I absolutely adore you. Also, someone corrected me the other day on saying I j'adore. They're like, babe, the je in j'adore means I. You don't have to say I. And I'm like, I know, I did French for 7 years. Okay. I'm being silly. I'm being cutesy. I'm being demure. Anyway, thanks, Illum Alliance.
But I remember we were outside with this guy, and he was like talking to me and he was like, oh, yeah, no, whatever, and then I remember he was like, oh, I've always wondered, what it's like to be gay. So you just like guys? And I'm like, yeah, like how you like girls, I like guys. And he was like, oh, I've always wondered what it'd be like to get a blowjob from a guy. And I was like, oh, well, the same. And then he was like, yeah, like, would you? And he was like flirting with me. And he was with one of the girls that was at the party. And I was just kind of like, there's two things here. A, this is so hot.
Of course. I've seen this
I was
video.
like, yeah, I was like, no. And then B, like, what?
Yeah.
You're with what? Like, and I understand, like, back then it was like, you're either gay or straight. But at the time it was like, you're with someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
How's she going to feel about you?
Maybe he's like, it doesn't count.
I know, but this is before, probably not, because I think this is before bisexuality was really like
Invented.
No, honestly, I think I invented it. No, I'm kidding. I'm so not bisexual, but it was at a time where like bisexuals just weren't, and I'd love your thoughts on this, but bisexuals were almost kind of like a joke.
Oh, totally.
For gay people and straight people.
Totally.
You know?
It's weird to have any kind of feelings around it because I get to, pass as straight so easily, especially in a straight passing relationship.
Yeah.
Like that are like got the big one, the one I'm gonna marry and everything. So it's weird to have any feelings, but it even now is still very much so like erased because it is kind of funny. I mean, I make the jokes all the time. I'm like, bi erasure's hilarious, but it's a weird thing. Everyone's kind of like, no, be one, don't stop. Okay, we don't like this. You got too many options, and.
I mean, I've thought about this a lot. Like dating a bi guy, I feel like old school, but I would struggle because I'd always be like, oh my God, you're going to go with a girl, because I was conditioned to believe that a gay relationship is not as normal and as weird. And so
100%.
I'd be constantly worried the guy, and this is, again, I'm saying this from like, this is an old school mentality, but it's how I felt growing up.
Yep.
Whereas now I'm like, bisexual people are almost the missing ingredient to acceptance, because it's like the bridge to straight people. Because like, you guys look at all these bi people, they look straight, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden they're telling you, guys, we actually feel these queer feelings as well.
Yeah.
Even if, and so I almost feel like, especially bi people in hetero relationships are almost like the gateway gay. I don't know, like,
totally.
like the people that like, can explain to straight people that sexuality is a spectrum. It's not like...
Yeah.
Straight people know this now, though, do they? I don't know.
I think
do
they're
they?
getting there. The kids these days, for sure.
Today.
They are getting there. They want to fuck everyone, which I love, because I'm like, that's the simplicity of bisexuality. It's like, no, we're just
Horniness.
horny. We're just so horny.
But this is the thing about going back to what we were saying about like wanting to look good, is I'm like, I always feel like for me, horniness is half of the purpose of being horny. Is if someone's horny over me, I'm there.
Yeah.
Like I'm already like,
Yeah.
I'm moist already.
Honestly.
Let's talk.
Well, this is interesting because I was about to say it's embarrassing, but even when dating girls, I didn't like dating bi girls because I don't think it was any kind of like, oh, she's going to go off and get a guy. It was more that I like someone to be so into me that I'm like all they could possibly be into. It's so crazy and deranged.
That is so hot and horny for me too.
Right?
I could not agree more. I'm like, I want you to want to breathe me in.
Yeah.
Like I want you to need me, but I think, would I ask, like I would ask, like I would say for me, it's because I'm a deep romantic.
Yeah.
Like I'm really like, and I think a lot of my comedy as well is kind of like me being like, how do I explain it? Like, a lot of the traditional gay guys, like, sleeps around and which I've done before. And I think it's very healthy and very wonderful. But I've always been kind of like a rom-com in 1998 is my dream. Like I'm just like, I want to fall over New York Street and look up and it's just Matthew McConaughey's dick just right there. And I'm like, yes.
I feel you.
And that's
so
just
much.
how it is. But I feel like that's why it's like, if someone's into us, it's kind of like romantic.
Yeah, 100%. No, it's really, I mean, I used to be really fucking toxic with it when I was younger. I had never the desire to date or marry or anything, loved to be a big old hussy, but I wanted every single person I interacted with in a sexual manner to be in love with me. Yes. And I heard a lot of people.
But do you know what I used to always say? You and I are so similar like this. This is like quite, we're like, hello.
It's so fun.
I used to always say like, I went through a phase when I was in a really long-term relationship when I was like 18 to 24. Then I met my now husband when I was 29. Oh my God. So I had 5 years of like dating. I was with people, some people for like a year or so, but like it was very much... I was around,
Yeah.
you know, and I remember I used to always have this mentality that I'd be like, and I would never say this, but I would kind of say it with my body, I guess. That sounds so sexy. I said it with my body. That sounds hot.
Okay, opening up your
Hot.
robe.
Oh my God, opening up my aura, etc. But I remember I'd always be like, I want you to love me just for tonight. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter about tomorrow. And like, I know there's songs like, you know, will you still love me tomorrow, whatever, but it's that thing of like, when tomorrow comes, we'll deal with however we feel. And most of the time, I'm happy to walk away. I don't care. But for tonight, light a fucking candle, put on some jazz, get a bottle of red wine out, and let's make love. You know, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I don't care about tomorrow, but like the concept for me of falling in love with someone for like a night or for a moment is not that weird.
No, me neither.
Love doesn't have to last forever.
No, me neither. And when I hear people talk about like how they've been in love once, I'm like,
We're like child's play. You kidding?
what?
That's level 1. We're at level 176, babe.
Are you not opening your eyes every day? Like, what are you talking about? It's everywhere.
I fall in love with my barrister sometimes, just a little bit. I'm like, hot. Oh my God, is it hot for me? Like, do we have a thing?
It's so fucked up. How has this been navigated as being a married man? Like, do you still have little loves?
I mean, I'm about to apologize for being in love, which is so crazy. But I feel like because I was so deeply slutty and I was so deeply open to love, and I say slutty in like a way that I'm super proud of.
Of course.
I feel like I had a lot of love in my 20s. And so when I met my husband, when I was 29, it was like, I was ready, and I could recognize it because I'd had so many interactions with people emotionally, physically, like everything, spiritually, whatever. I'd really been open to experiences with people.
Yeah.
By the time I was 29, I'd been dating for maybe 11 years. So I kind of recognized instantly that it was someone that was like above other things I'd felt before.
Yeah.
And you know how this feels. I can tell from your eyes. Yeah. But it's a very nice feeling. But without all those other experiences, I don't know if I would have recognized it as quick. Yeah.
No, I think it's so important for people to have their hoe era for that reason. Exactly.
I always like, and I always like say, like, when you get to the point where you can stomach one dick for the rest of your life, that is when you know you've met the one. But that's also because you can stomach it because you're like, I've seen it all. And I know that this is like something worthy of, you know, and I'm like, we're monogamous as well. Like, we're not, you know, the Diet Coke's making me burp into the microphone. I'm so sorry.
I love it. No,
It's
I
like,
love it.
I'm
The
like,
listeners love it.
people are listening going like, he sounds so sexy. Never mind. It's like belching. But I really feel like, yeah, you need to live a life.
Yes.
Otherwise.
Yes. Completely. It's very helpful. Otherwise, I mean, we see it all the time. People cheat. People leave. People resent each other. And
Resentment is almost worse than anything, eh?
oh, couldn't agree more.
I'm like, if I ever, like, every time, if I'm out for dinner with like a bunch of couples or whatever, and there's always that couple that's like, well, she, that kind of energy. And I'm sitting there going, okay. And I always said, like, Luchan is my husband's name. Every time we leave these dinners, I said, Luchan, I'm like, if you ever spoke to me like that in a public space, A, I'd be embarrassed, but B, I'd be so hurt. I'd just be like, why are you saying stuff about me like that in front of people like I'm some weirdo?
Yeah.
But he would never do that.
No.
He'd just be like, no, you know, like, you know,
Oh, I got to meet your husband.
oh, you'll love him. He's very aloof, actually. People are often surprised because he's quite like, I'm like, you know, as we were saying, you know, I'll give my heart to the world instantly.
Yeah.
Whereas he's much more like,
So's my partner.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
but it's because we need people like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
You're right.
and they need people like us. we need them so that we don't like give our entire like soul
Oh my
to
God,
everybody.
that's so true.
And they need us to be like, not everyone's trying to fuck you over. Like, some people actually are kind. Like, yeah, you resonating with this though?
Yes, 100%. Jesus Christ. Oh, wow.
Do you feel like he's protected you like emotionally and spiritually and whatever from the world since you've been with him?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I started this podcast because I have had, you know, troubles with friendships and whatever, dramas, things, insecurities more than anything as well. So that I do like put a lot onto friendships being like, oh, they hate me. And yeah, he's been incredible and loving and, you know, actually supports when he's like, yeah, no, that is fucked up of someone. You don't have to just forgive them or think that you're crazy or.
You and I are so similar.
Really?
I always say to my husband, I'm always like, something about me that this could be used against me as well. So if you're listening and know me, please don't use it against me. But
Don't you dare.
I find it really hard to read reality.
Yeah.
Because I'm I'm always assuming I'm in the wrong.
Yep.
So like something will happen, and even though I'm very good with people, I can read people very well. I'm not easy to bullshit. But if something major happens, even if it's with like the biggest con artist of all time,
Yeah.
I'll be like, I totally asked for that, didn't I? And they're like, they kidnapped you. I'm like, but still, like it's just that thing of like, I really, and in times like I was in a really toxic workplace this year that I left, and it was literally toxic for like 18 months. It was like people that were deeply, deeply troubled, deeply, deeply awful to me. And at the end of it, it took me months to realize that I was not to blame.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, but I guess I could have like not been a little bit sassy in that one meeting. And Luciano would be like, but they were coming for you. Like you responding in a sassy way is because you were ambushed. And I was like, oh, see, I thought to myself, because I didn't handle it with please and thank you, that means I deserved it,
Yep.
And it's thank God for people that like them,
yeah.
our men.
Oh, our men are great.
I know. Look at us. We're both like, love is beautiful.
I'm gonna cry. It's so nice getting to know you more. We've hung out like twice, and just
really recently as well. But we
really
I feel
recently.
like we've met quite a few times.
Yeah,
though.
we would have met a few.
But it was
times
always
at
like
gigs.
ships in the night. Yeah, it was kind of like hi. Then it was that we had a gig together, and then we did a dance class together.
We did.
That was where we truly bonded, I feel,
That's
because
why we
it was the
became
whole
best
night. We went for
friends.
dinner as well. It was just like, and we became best friends in our inability to like body roll like the professional dancers. And we were beating ourselves up for it. This is examples of our behavior.
100%.
They were like literally doing amazing dance moves. We were like, we're not like them. They're like, guys, we've been studying this since we were 2. And we're like, but still, like, we're such a pieces of shit in the back. It was so mean to ourselves.
We're both just like, yuck, how has anyone ever wanted to fuck me? This is disgusting.
Next to literal professional dancers who literally tour the world. Going, piece of shit, disgust. I'm like spitting at the mirror, like at myself.
I'm honestly so upset. I have a wedding to go to in a couple of months, and I'm like, well, I better book in some dancing classes before then, because God forbid anyone sees me dance the way I've been dancing.
I'll come with you.
Please.
I will come with you.
Really?
But could I just say about our dance class,
Please.
what everyone needs to understand about this is that we were being filmed for some of it, and I was like, piece of shit, did it? Telling in my head going, and then when I look back at the videos the next day, I was like, oh, actually, it's quite good. Like, actually, it wasn't that bad, but we were both quite good. It was just that but it was just because we were comparing ourselves to the professional dancers who actually like, they literally picked up the routine in literally a minute.
Yeah. It was crazy. Everyone's like, oh, Eloise is like, it's fine for beginners. And I'm like, everyone's a dancer. They're all very good.
What can Eloise not do though? Like
I
every time you
know.
see her just like picking up stuff so quickly, and
God.
I really would like, like when you like imagine yourself performing at like the Grammys or whatever.
Of
Do you
course.
yeah. I had thought this. I was like, oh, do you know what? If I ever perform at the Grammys, Eloise is going to be my dancer. I'm going to dance. She's going to be my choreographer. She's going to dance next to me. And it's never going to happen. But I just thought, just for her, like I was like, she would be the one because it would,
She's so incredibly talented.
She is a quadruple threat.
She is also really influential.
She
like,
is.
Do you find that, because you guys are quite close,
We are.
do you find that like you adopt her mannerisms? Because I'm
No bae, silly.
I can't hang out with her without walking away with a few new ones.
But it's because like she's one of those people, and I guess like, and this podcast is about friendship as well. So her, like, she is one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah.
Being with her for me feels like a holiday from the horrors of life. Do you know what I mean? Like you're just like, oh. And I think the reason why people copy her mannerisms is because it's not copying. I shouldn't say that. It's almost like assimilating to her world. Is because her world is so full of joy and love that you want to be a part of it.
That's so beautifully put.
Yeah.
You're
And so I'm just like,
right.
and even when she's not there, like I've started to like, I always joke because I've started to add to her, like, is it vernacular? Is that the right word? I'm trying to sound smart.
I mean,
Vernacular?
that
Whatever the
applies, I
fuck,
think.
But she always says like silly, she goes silly.
Yes.
And so, and like she comes over to my house for dinner quite a bit. And so like her and my husband are really good friends too. And so he started going like silly, and he was just like copy. He'll be like silly, silly, and then we started saying every time something costs like a little bit more than you'd think, we both go money, money, and so like, and then now it's got to the point you're like, oh, this is worth like 1 cent. We'll go money, And she approved it, by the way. She approved it. I said to her, we just added something, and she was like, I love it. And so, what's your favorite thing she does?
Wow.
And also, what about gunk?
Oh, love a gunk.
I sometimes am just by myself. I'm just back at home by myself doing something, and I'll just go gunk, and then I think to myself, she stays with you.
She stays with you so much.
She's currently in Edinburgh, but she stays with you.
It's wild. I've been watching Abby on F-Boy Island, Abby Chatfield, and I can see the Eloise-isms. It's phenomenal. It just makes me so happy. And every time I see it or talk to her, I say, God, you're influential.
People want to be in your orbit,
It's
and actually
so cool.
that night was like the night that we went dancing. It was like Abby was there, and there was 2 other dancers who Eloise I think knows from dancing. It was the sweetest group of people, and we literally had this dinner that felt spiritual. Is it weird to say that? Like,
no, I mean I just got chills. I am gonna cry tonight.
Yeah, but it did feel magic because it felt ultimate acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so nice. It
Oh
was
my
like
God, I'm
going
getting
out.
emotional.
I know.
I'm getting emotional.
It was like going out with old friends. And like you and I had only hung out that night and one other briefly. I love Eloise, but like we're not, always hanging out. We just met the other girls. Like it was just crazy.
It was a friendship and development.
It was so lovely.
And I think you just kind of feel like seen. And I feel like, I guess that's the point of friendship, right? Is like, I actually wrote to my friend the other day, is this cringy? Well, it's probably not everything cringy is just things that are kind of deeply true, right? That's the thing about cringe is when you say something earnestly, But one of my best friends, her name's Caroline. She lives in the UK. I lived in London for a long time. I met her there. We became like just brother and sister. I love her. And I was complaining about something that no one really understands. One of those things that like you complain about, people like, well, maybe if you reframe it, and you're like, I don't want that conversation. Like, I just want you to go, ugh, I know.
That sucks.
And so, that sucks. So that's so annoying. And I was just kind of talking about, how much I hate capitalism. And I'm like, why do we have to work? Like, it's so dumb. And like, I don't care. And like, like whatever. And just being like, it's so, and of course, in my right frame of mind, it's like, well, life is life. Try your heart, whatever. Yeah. But I just wanted someone to go. So I was like, told her, and she was like, I know, right? Like, and I was like, I love this. Yeah. Then I responded to her. I had this moment. I thought I need to tell people this, and I just went, you make me feel so seen. Thank you so much. And then she was like, you make me feel seen too. Like you understand. I didn't have to contextualize my thoughts for her. Yeah. Because she knew where I was coming from, and it was something that was just like, now definitely as someone who's approaching 40, your friends do start to dwindle by choice a lot of the time for me, like totally. get out oh no, I was trying to do the whole but my got a frog in my throat. You and me the microphone, too late, I can't wait for you to be gone.
Speaking of quadruple threats,
I know, I'm like Eloise who? No, I'm kidding. Oh my God, I'm kidding. I love her, she's my life. Gunk. She's my favorite person in the world, but I really, it's something that like you start to really see people and be like, oh, you really are a friend. Like you're someone who I don't have to just be funny for, or I'm not. It's not about looking cool or whatever.
Totally. That's exciting because I feel that in a lot of friendships, but it's I think more natural in older friendships, right? And I think that, I don't know, I moved to Sydney almost 3 years ago. It's like the friends are now becoming older friends, but they're still in the grand scheme of things quite new.
It's so weird the way when like you move to a different, I'm trying to get like comfortable, sorry.
No, you're right.
Can I lean? I feel like I'm too tall for this.
Do whatever you need.
Oh, look, we can look at each other through. I feel like it's weird when new friends become like the new era of friends. Yeah. When you're like, oh, wow, I've known you long enough that you are now not my new era. Yeah. You're in a previous era.
Yeah, totally.
And I feel like, because I'm from New Zealand, and so I have my Kiwi girls who are still like my sisters, and then I moved to London. And now when I go back to London, I've got like my London girls. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, you're like what my Kiwi girls were when I was in London, and now I'm in Sydney, and now I've got my Kiwi girls and my London girls. Yes. And now I've got like my Sydney girl. Like it's very beautiful. And I feel just really lucky. And, you know, speaking, like Eloise is a good example of like, I met her when I'd moved to Sydney in 2019. It was maybe we met just before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, when you meet people, like I remember meeting her and being like, is this a we?
Yeah.
And to me, it feels almost like you almost get like, it's almost like a fizzy fanny, but in your heart. Do you know what I mean? When you're like,
100%.
I think I love you, you know? And I remember going like, I met a lot of comedians and they were all great, but I remember meeting Eloise and being like, this feels like I would love to be your friend. And then over time, she gave me the same energy that I was giving her, and reciprocal. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, it's been 5 years, and now you're one of my like friends who I will be friends with forever.
Yeah, wow.
And it's so weird because it sometimes feels like a new friendship, but it's actually like this is a lifelong friendship.
Yep, totally.
Yeah.
It is interesting. I guess it's like romantic relationships where you can feel that pretty quickly. You can feel it pretty much straight away.
Well, we can. Other people like they're like literally like in their 80s going still not sure, and you're like, well,
I don't know if I'm ready for kids.
Yeah.
Mate, you're 70. But yeah, like I guess maybe we're special, but you can feel the excitement when you just really gel well with someone. I don't know. I was excited meeting you and hanging out with you because we just gel really well, and it's nice. Did you ever find that you get nervous in those things the way that one could in a romantic relationship?
I felt the same about you, by the way. Like it felt very instantly. I always liked you when we'd passed each other at gigs and stuff.
Yeah.
I could always feel when I looked at you, there was a connection that was like, you know, even though it was just like, hey, how are you? It was like, oh, you're a real person.
Yeah.
You're a real person who is giving me the real version of you instantly. It's not, I don't have to read between the lines. I don't feel like, what? Why does she hate me or anything like that? Yeah,
totally. Oh,
and
that's
then,
good.
And then when we had our first gig together, I remember walking in, I was in a kind of a flurry, and I was kind of doing a little one-man show, and you were loving it, and everyone else was hating it, and I was like, yeah, this is my kind of person. You know, like this is someone who's like up for my little like musical number. But I definitely feel nervous, and I'm super sensitive to everyone around me, and I'm very like. And this is not just comedy is a good example, but I don't think comedy is different to any other kind of space you're in. But you know, when you're in comedy, there's a hierarchy.
Yeah. And
there's like who means more in this space, and we all know it fluently. Like it's not as if people don't know. Like it's obvious, you know. But I feel very uncomfortable being in those spaces and not being able to acknowledge what's going on.
Totally.
And that's what makes me uncomfortable. And I'm like, do we have to all pretend we like this fucker? Because yeah, he's on TV, but he's annoying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Notice I used he because it most often is a him.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. It's so weird how phony people are. And
I feel sick to my stomach thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Acid reflux. Yeah, it's gross.
It's so gross. I think that also, from my experience, most of the bigger acts and everyone that people are fucking sycophants for can fucking feel that anyway and know that, and it's like you're not actually doing yourself any favors, I think, by behaving like that.
No.
Ugh.
It's also like it's the age old adage of like, be careful who you kick on the way up, because this is a small industry internationally. Even being a dick does not serve you.
No.
I'm not a dick because it feels nice to be nice.
Yeah.
But on top of that, it's like, you think that people are going to... And I always giggle, like, especially when comedians are all in a room together, you know, like a comedy festival or like whatever, and they're all... It's just like one big 69 and dick sucking, like, oh, here we go. And I always giggle in the corner and think to myself, do we all realize that none of us have power in this industry? Like, we're the talent. Like, there's no producers here. Like, I think we can unclench and stop pretending that some... whatever the hell, like, you know, and it upsets me. And so the minute I meet people like yourself, like Eloise, like many of the people we've been talking about and many of the people that you have on here, actually, they're the people I always go, oh, because it's like, oh, you're real people who just love being funny, who just love making the world a bit more joyful than how we found it.
Yeah.
And all this other fucking shit. Oh, yeah.
It's so unnecessary.
It's so boring,
It
actually.
is
More than anything.
boring.
It's just like, this is boring. This is predictable.
Yep.
I'm burping again because I'm so angry and upset and I'm feeling sick. It's like, this is dedicated to you fuckers.
You're gonna throw up.
But I find it really empowering talking about it. Like, I don't know, are you the same that if you're in I don't know if this is, I think like I'm self-diagnosed ADHD, which is terrible. Actually, the doctor kind of said I was as well, but I had to go and get an official one. But
No,
I'm like,
really.
ADHD, hilarious. You think I'm going to go do this? You think I'm going to book an appointment in?
Crazy.
Hilarious, yeah. You seem like you are, but like maybe go, But I definitely like, I forgot my point.
You like to acknowledge this.
That's my diagnosis. Just there. I forgot what I was saying.
Fucking hell.
Who am I? What was I
You
saying?
like to acknowledge like how weird it is, or like talk about, right?
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
I find so much power in being in a situation where there's like the pink elephant in the room and going, there's a pink elephant. You see it, right? And forcing people to go, yeah, I see it.
Yep.
And going, cool, so I'm not crazy.
Yep.
And this goes back to our point though about friendships and stuff, right? You're like sitting there going, wait, you're being abusive right now, right? And then people being like, no, what? No. And you're going, you're gaslighting me, right? No, what? Like, God, you're so dramatic. Do you get that a lot as well? You're so dramatic.
Yes, of course.
Like, no, I'm smart.
Yeah, and I've also always categorized it as being confrontational, but I don't think it is actually. Maybe it's my comfort in confrontation, but it's like it is just saying what is there, right?
The truth, right? Or your truth, at the very least.
At least, but still, a lot of people don't even want to say their own truth. It's so weird.
I'm getting annoyed. People, this is actually like, I'm like, now we're talking about people, I'm like, I get annoyed, and I'm starting to get, this is when I can tell I'm getting, but to 40, because I'm getting a whole fucking fuck, because this is getting boring.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the world we live in right now, where we so desperately need to understand the truth, and we so desperately need to hear other people's truth out, and like whatever, like not create a nicer world, basically.
Yeah.
So when people are like not acknowledging things, that it's like, if you don't acknowledge it, it won't go away.
Yes.
So it's like, just, it's okay to be like, fuck, it's a fuck day, lol, and like then like we can laugh about it and we can like try
Totally.
and make it better. But like sometimes I'm sitting there going, we need to kind of make this world better, and the first step is acknowledging that it needs to be better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this getting too deep?
No, it's perfectly deep. I love this
I'm
level
eating
of
popcorn
deep.
to try and make myself feel like a child again. When you start talking about heavy things, you're like, oh, hug me.
Anyway.
No.
No, that's why the popcorn's here. It's what's it called? Emotional support popcorn.
It really is though, and I don't know about you, but I eat when I'm sad. So
Yeah. Yeah. Duh. I also like to fidget with it. I think it's a good thing to have something. I don't know.
it's
Me
very
chatting.
tactile. Very tactile popcorn.
Yeah. I've been watching Golden Girls because of you.
You're welcome.
I love it so much.
Okay, can you just give me explain why you're watching it and what your thoughts are? Because I'm interested to hear.
Why I'm watching it?
Yeah, because I mean, obviously me. Yeah.
Because you recommended it, and I immediately knew I could trust your recommendations. I don't know. I was like, you're a man of taste. So
I agree. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
I love it so much. It's so nuanced. It's exactly what you were saying. You made a great case for watching it. You were like, it's crazy for the time and how influential it has been. But I was watching an episode last night where they were talking about Blanche's niece was being a bit of a slut, and she basically explained to her how you can be a slut in a good way and a slut in a bad way, and it was so well articulated. She's like, she's like, oh, you can't say anything, Blanche, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, yes, I've been known to enjoy the company of men, but I go out with these men because I like them, not because I want them to like me. And I was like, oh.
Blanche
It's
Devereaux. Yeah.
huge. Oh my God. I'm loving it so much. I have major preemptive friendship envy because I'd like to retire like that or live like that.
Let's do it.
I mean, yeah. Once
It can
the
be.
husbands
We just have
go.
to find out what characters will we be. I feel like I'm somewhere between. I feel like I'm kind of. I think this is kind of like Sex and the City. I think I was saying this to you when I recommended Golden Girls as well. I feel like because if you watch the Golden Girls, you can see the nucleus of Sex and the City. You really can, and
Yeah.
also and Friends.
Yes.
Actually, I would argue,
Yes.
and and Seinfeld, actually.
It's honestly so many types. There's
Yeah.
the crazy, the slutty, the stupid, and the smart.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking good
also
dynamic.
the naive, the kind of cunning, you know, the sassy one-liner, and the one that it's very nuanced. And all of those great shows I mentioned, which I think are great, you know, Seinfeld, Friends, Sex and the City, all these kind of 90s game-changing kind of TV shows, all are really rooted in the Golden Girls, I think. And when you look back at the Golden Girls, and the reason I kind of told you to watch it, that sounds intense. Well, the reason I suggested that you watch it is because
you made me.
it's literally like, I was born in 1985. That was the year it started. This show is literally my age, and the topics it's covering, and as you said, the nuance in which it's covering them in is really impressive.
It's so impressive.
It's still like there's very few jokes that feel off color even today.
Absolutely.
There'll be one in every couple of episodes that you're like, oh, okay, that clearly was the 80s.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, you're like, you could play this today and it would be relevant.
Honestly, I'm watching it and I'm thinking, why aren't we further along? Did everyone miss it?
Yeah, that's the depressing bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it also just reminds me of how cyclical life and humans are, and that, you know, we think we're having all of this wonderful progress, and then you go back to then, or you go back to the Industrial Revolution, and like all of these different times in history where at the same time they were like, yeah, well, look at all this progress, and then they regress from there, and then they build back up, and it's just
one step forward, two steps back.
It's really quite upsetting.
It really is, and that's kind of what I was talking before about cutting the shit and talking about the elephant. Like, it's like being like, do we really want to be back? You know, I want to be back in the Golden Girls era personally.
Yeah.
Where you know, that's I know that episode actually where they talk about sluttiness, and that kind of is like Blanche is the kind of slutty that I was, because I was I definitely have hooked up with people for their purposes and not my own, but like you learn that I learned that pretty quick. I was like, that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad you like it. That makes me feel really proud.
Totally. I think I definitely had been both kinds of slutty, and like was the youngest kind and graduated into the older kind. But, you know, it was something that took years of self-reflection, and then just to see it summarized so well on an episode of Golden Girls, I'm like, what?
From 1986, and you're going, oh, okay.
Oh, all right. I didn't need to have any of that
40
trauma.
years ago. Yeah.
It's so great. Oh, what was I going to say about it? No, I just love it. Whatever. I love it. I love them. I aspire to them now. Thank you for the recommendation.
Let's campaign for showing Golden Girls in schools.
Yes. Yes.
Imagine seeing it at 16, being like, this is the two types of sluts you can be. Or all the kids going, now I know.
That's what I was going to say. Okay. So, because I feel like those two types of sluts kind of can be easily articulated with like pick me and girls girl.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd say you're a girls girl.
100%.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to a reformed pick me wanting to be a girls girl?
That's such a good question.
Thank you.
Do you know what the truth is? I'm going to be honest about my body. I have a little reaction of going, ugh, reform it. Like, you know, once a pick me, always a pick me, you know. But of course, people do reform.
Mm-hmm. It's possible.
My advice would be decentering men.
Yeah.
Which is probably part of the journey of how they reformed pick me.
Yeah.
But the minute you start decentering men in those friendships, all of my friendships we talked about, and you know, and a lot of my good friends are also queer women as well. But in general, we'd talk about the boys, the partners, whatever. But decentering men allows you to center each other.
Yeah.
And so when you go to the club, and this is such an early 2000s reference, because I feel like we're flipping between decades at the moment. But
I don't even know who's going to the club these days.
But yeah, no, I don't think anyone is. But like, what, Brett Summer, baby, like, you know, it's the club's back.
Right.
The club's back, and so we'd be going to the club, we'd be, you know, chuffing on ciggies, we'd be drinking, whatever. And hooking up with a guy was like a bonus if it happened. Oh my God, fun. I'm so proud of my girl. She's getting some D tonight, whatever. Yeah. But we would go out, and because we didn't center the men in that situation in the way that a pick me would, we were out together. We were dancing to Beyonce Crazy in Love. This is when I was 18. I turned 18 in 2003. It was the year of Beyonce Crazy in Love.
Oh, wow.
It was the year of Love Don't Cost a Thing remix. You know? It was the year of Sing a Song with Me, Ain't Nobody It was the year of When I Get Rowdy. It was the year of I Don't Know What It Is. So I came into
What a
I know
year.
it was
Oh
pop.
my God.
It was pop heaven. It was also the year of I think it was Lose My Breath. It was also like around the 18 months. You know, it was great pop era. So I remember going out to the club and we just wanted to hear Toxic. It was Toxic. We wanted to hear Toxic, Crazy in Love. We wanted to be together dancing and our outfits looking hot. But it was centered in each other.
Yeah.
And I think still to this day with my best friends, we will still always center each other.
Yeah.
No matter what. And I think that's really the key to being a girl's girl. Would you agree? Yeah.
I agree. I hate to admit it, but I think I am a reformed pick-me.
I mean, you've learned your ways. You know, you've come into yourself.
This is I was thinking about this like last night, you know, instead of sleeping. I was like,
That's healthy. Yeah. That's the way it should be. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I definitely had pick-me tendencies, and I think a lot of girls do growing up. And I think that's just part of growing up in the world we live in. But I also think a large part of it was like I have had and still have a lot of male friends. I have like sisters, and so that was like the girlfriends I was closest with. But a lot of the girlfriends I had in school growing up and stuff, I either was in love with or they were mean because I was bi, and like it was really difficult. And so I had a lot of male friends. And I'm like, oh, yuck, pick me, gross. Like, because I still have a lot of male friends. And I'm like, maybe that isn't pick me. I don't know. It's honestly.
I think that's, I think, a misconception about pick me. To me, when someone says pick me, in my generation, we would call it one of the buys. Like the girl who's like, I'm one of the buys. I'm one of the guys. Guys, I'm like, you know, crazy that I like video games. Bah, like, do you want to fuck? That was the kind of the energy, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a difference between being friends with guys and like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
To me, someone who's picked me, there's kind of malintent there of like, for me, what it was like when I was younger. Now I wouldn't even know, like, I don't care, like whatever. I'd just be like, ugh. But when I was in my more impressionable years, I think I was coming out of high school. I was bullied like every freaking queer theatre kid, you know, which probably every single person on this podcast has had the same story of like, we really liked to perform, therefore everyone was like, you're gay, you know, whatever. Yeah.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, most of them. It's like, okay. So I was really loving having friendships and a social life and whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember pick me girls being more concerned with the straight boys being comfortable and happy, that they would often, and this is literally no one that I'm close with, but I would often feel very unwelcome.
Yeah.
And I think when I say decentering men, all of my best girlfriends, like my best friend Grace, who I've been best friends with since we were 13, she, you know, she wanted the guys to want her, of course. But she wanted me to want her more.
Yes, okay,
because that,
okay,
you know,
good.
and so she would never, like, when her boyfriend wouldn't want to be around, like, you know, don't want to be around gay friends, she'd be like, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, what we think we want to be around you and David and Kevin and Matt. Like, isn't that fun for me? You know?
Sitting around while you smoke bongs and play video games.
You know, it's like, and this is something like, I'm a man, so I feel like saying this is not offensive, but girls are more fun than boys.
Yeah. Girls
In
are really
general. In general.
Don't get mad.
Yeah. What are you going to do, my guy? You know, what are you going to do? That was very Sophia, wasn't it? It was very Sophia. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
I cut you off, sorry.
No,
very
you
mansplaining.
Didn't. No, you didn't. No, that makes me honestly breathe a huge sigh of relief, because I never, for one second, wanted the attention of the men more than I wanted the attention of the girls. I wanted a lot of attention from everyone, but more than anything, like the thing that drives this podcast was me being like, where are the girlies at?
And you're finding them.
I'm finding them.
And girlies can also be like, in this, you know, ever-changing world of evolving forward with gender and what it means. I am one of the girls.
Obviously.
And I always say to people, I'm very, my energy is 100% feminine, and that's not, you know, I'm a man, but the energy you can possess can be deeper than just boys and girls and girls. There's such a huge way of expressing one's gender.
Oh, yeah.
And I find it, all of it beautiful and all of it great. And the
Yeah.
fact that I always felt really bad for being so emotional as a guy. Being like, oh my God, I'm really, like, I feel really hurt easy. And
Yeah.
the world often feels overwhelming to me. And I don't, unless someone is literally eating my ass as they talk to me, I think everyone's mean. Like, I'm like, why are you mean? You know, like, unless someone's being like, you're beautiful, you're kind, you're worthy. You know, if someone's just like, hi, nice to meet you, I'm like, hate them.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
So
hate them,
true.
hate you. I don't care. They could be like literally working a charity for kids. I'm like, I don't care. You're a cunt.
You're a
You know,
cunt.
yeah. I'm just, I got the vibe, and you know, and then the thing I love about all my best friends, if I'm like let's say I meet, you know, John or
Yeah.
Sarah, whatever, and I'll be like, ugh, like John, I don't like him. He's a weird vibe. All my best friends would be like, me too now. Great. Jake caught a vibe. We trust the vibe.
We trust
We
it.
trust the
Oh.
vibe. Yeah. And that to me
magical.
is like, that is a true friend.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of a pick me.
Yeah.
That's like a
Burn
pick
down.
her. Yeah.
I love that so much.
Oh, thanks.
This has been enriching. I think we have to play sleepover games now.
Oh, what's that? Oh my God. Okay, cool.
Let me check. Yeah. We gotta do some quick ones. All right. So,
I will never stop talking. So
no, I know we planned this with both having gigs afterwards because otherwise we would have spoken for 3 hours. But
because
maybe
we're working and very successful, we're
'cause we
getting
are-
paid lots, and we're in demand. So book us.
booked and blessed. Yeah,
Booked and blessed.
we're so booked up, but also like book us.
Yeah, but also like my calendar's pretty free. So
Please. All right. So I'm gonna get straight into the fuck, marry, kills.
okay, I love it.
Blanche, Rose, and Dorothy
Okay.
from the Golden Girls. If you don't know.
Fuck Blanche, obviously.
Yes.
Because hello.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Kill Rose because that would get annoying. Marry Dorothy because that'd be some good conversations.
So true.
Yeah.
I was lost my mind at Rose's character because obviously I know Betty White, and I was like, I didn't know that this was the character that she was fucking known for.
Yeah, she's quite. But Rose to me is someone that you have so much love for.
Yes.
But she has to go when it comes to like forever and ever. You know, and also, can I just say, who would not pick Blanche to shag?
That would be crazy to
I
pick
feel.
anyone
Is it
else.
weird that I feel weird saying Blanche? So Blanche. I feel like you've got to go Blanche.
Blanche. I don't know though. Rose did kill her husband in the sack. So, spoilers.
Do you know what?
Sorry.
That's hot. Like,
Exactly.
I'm like, Rose, I'm into that.
All right, good answers. I think I'd have to agree. I think they are those perfect archetypes that I
Yeah.
think any other answer would be fucking crazy.
I think so too.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go straight to it. Truth or dare?
Truth.
Okay. Do you actually think I have any dancing potential, like with classes? Be honest with me here.
I will. I picked truth. Do you want to pick truth as well? Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because I'm so lazy. I'm like, I was worried you're going to go run around the block. And I'd be like, I don't want to.
Everyone always thinks the dares involve getting up. I'm
No.
not. This is a podcast.
I
I'm
would
not
also,
gonna be-
I'll do both. I'm not afraid. But dancing potential, can you be like a professional dancer?
No.
Okay, cool. Because I was about to say, I don't think professional, no.
The Olympics.
But my feeling was that you definitely didn't pick it up as quick as the professional dancers. How dare you? But
Gonna cry.
you were very, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you were very sexy as in the way you moved. You've
Okay.
got a sensuality about you
Okay.
that may not be a technical dancer,
Okay.
but it was compelling and sexy.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the
you
truth.
so
I'll do the dare
much.
too. What's the dare?
The dare is I dare you to show me your Instagram Explore.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's up there though. Okay, one second.
Well, you chose this.
Has anyone ever done both before?
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
I'm doing the whole.
Yeah, I'm different. No, you're right.
What's Instagram Explore? Oh my god, my hip's sore. Is it?
Oh my
What's
god.
Instagram Explore again?
Instagram Explore is
Don't say it if there's anyone you know. Imagine it's like all one person you know.
it's just when you press the search button and it's that whole feed, that page. Yeah. All right. Okay.
There's lots of plastic surgery.
Lots of plastic surgery. Mine's got a lot of plastic surgery at the moment.
And then
too.
there's still a
puppy.
there's a puppy. There's Kylie Jenner.
Uh huh.
Can I just say, I promise you, I never look up Kylie Jenner. That must be paid. There's a lot of people getting nose jobs, which is very
Interesting.
Why?
Okay. I feel like you can tell a lot about where someone's at. Oh, we've got the millennial and Gen Z content. Maybe that's because of your content.
Oh, that's because of my TikTok,
Yeah.
probably.
Yep.
Oh, there's someone who's got a gnarly black eye.
Yep. That looks sad. Let's not.
Simon Cowell. This can't be right. Why would I have? Oh no, it's because I love this comedian. What's his name? Christopher Hall.
Oh,
He
I know.
is.
Who's Christopher Hall?
He's the one that does the dancing videos. He's so good. I don't know him personally, but
Yeah.
I love him. I think he's so talented and so funny.
Well, shout out.
This is real. This is quite.
This is pretty good.
This is pretty good. There's
Yeah.
a baby. That must be gays. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Hot gays.
Hot gays. Hot. What we
But
call
pretty
them hot?
tame.
Yeah.
Well, okay, sorry.
I wouldn't call them hot.
Wow.
Jessica Simpson. This is me. Oh, do you know what you see here as well? I'm obsessed with this Blake Lively takedown.
We don't have time to talk about it.
And
but
next episode.
I have so many thoughts. Thank you so much for coming. We got to wrap it
I
up.
love you. Thank you
love
so much.
You want to tell everyone where to find you?
Oh yeah, follow me on Instagram, Jake Howie, and on TikTok, Jake Howie Comedy. TikTok's more fun. I feel like my TikTok's more fun.
Wow.
Instagram's a bit more like personal.
Serious.
Everyone's like going to my Instagram now to like, it's cockpacks, and I'm joking. Thank you for having me. This is beautiful.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you guys so much for listening. I love you. Bye.
Bye. Oh my god, Blake Lively, obsessed.